everyone. This is the Google My Business Basics webinar, and we are going to do a walkthrough on exactly what you need to do to claim and optimize your listing with Google. Okay, so just to give you a little bit about myself, my name is Shelley Patrick, and I am the managing partner with ThinkFlame Marketing Agency. And this is going to be a series of webinars that we're going to do, one or two every month, helping people who aren't quite ready for an agency, but they want to do some of their own marketing. And so we want to give them some information so that they've got a firm foundation. What you can't see is Cassandra in the background. She is in the control panel answering any questions. So if you have them, please throw them in the chat and we'll get to them as we go through. And if we don't have an answer for you right this second, we will make sure to follow up with you afterwards and send any answers on with the replay. Okay, so to get started, what is Google My Business? So Google My Business is a free listing that appears on Google Search and Maps. And if you go to google.com/business, this is where you come to. So you just have to sign in or you start brand new. If you don't have an email, then a Gmail or a G Suite account, you'll need to create one of those to use this tool. But we will work our way through that. So once you hit start and sign in, this is where you land. And what you are looking at here is what is the name of your business? And that's pretty straightforward. We're going to go through the beginning part of a sample business. So we'll just call this Shelley's Company. You can look at the terms and service and privacy policy. They're pretty standard for all of Google's tools. And then it's going to give you an address. We're just going to put that one in there, Ontario. And then you're going to come to this little box here. And this little box here says, I deliver goods and services to my clients. And what that means is instead of your clients coming to an office or to a brick and mortar store, you deliver your products or services to your clients directly to them through going to their home, delivering it to their home. You might deliver seminars or education at a variety of locations that change, or like me, deliver some of your products online through webinars like this. And so you don't have a hard and fast office that people can come to. And so if you hit this, I deliver goods and services to my customers, it's going to give you the option to hide our address. And the reason that's important is because if you are a home-based business and don't have a ton of, any particular reason for someone to come to your home office, or just for safety reasons, right? If you have a family, you don't want someone just showing up at your doorstep thinking that it's an office when in fact it's your home. So hide your address is an option. And what happens is in the listing, you'll see two different listings I'm going to show you. One is a service area. So I've already lined this up already. And so this gives you an area in the GTA that Tankless Experts works in. It does not earmark a specific office, right? All of the information is there, but this particular area shows that anybody in that service area can give them a call and they'll take care of them, as opposed to a particular location. In this case would be chiropractic, where you have an actual map dot and directions to that location. So that's what the difference is with that particular setting. And we're going to leave this as area. And then with area, with a service location, it's going to use the location that you put in, and that's going to automatically populate. Here you can have two choices. You can give a kilometer, area that just stretches out, which is what Tankless had, which is why it's a round circle, or you can give a specific area. So you can put, all of Ontario or all of Whitby, right? You have those options. You can put North America. There we go. And that will change what shows up. Now, obviously, we don't need all of these. We're just going to leave that as North America and hit next. And so what happens here is they're going to ask you to choose a category that fits your business best. And you might not know specifically where to find that information or where you might fit in. Google has prompts all the way around offering you different instructions on how to choose that. But I would just go in and guess. If you're a chiropractor, it might just be there. Obviously, chiropractor is one of the options. If you're a store, it might say store. It might say, like, here's a number of different ones. It might say e-commerce if you're an online store. So there's a few different choices there. If you're a service, you might have some different choices as far as what kind of service you are. I just put financial here because I knew something would come up. So you've got financial advisor, you've got financial institution. Those are obviously very different items. Interesting that under financial, pet-friendly accommodation comes up. So you just want to play with that a little bit to find the best one that's going to work for you and your business. I'm just going to grab this one because it's there and move on to the next one. And then it's going to show you some details. I'm just going to put my business number there for purposes of this. And right here, you've got 3 different options. So you've got whatever your current website is. I don't need a website, which I actually disagree applies to anybody. And then you can get a free website based on your information. And you can see some details on that. And what this is a very basic one-page listing based on the information that you put into Google that will pull up, an image and a brief description of your business. I think it lists some services and some hours, and that's about it. It's not going to give you a whole lot more than that. You don't have options for call to actions. You don't have any analytics integrations. You can't put social share buttons. There is no SEO. It's just a very basic website. However, if you don't have a website, it's a good place to start as a placeholder while you actually build one, right? The advantage to this is you have something and it's going to be highlighted on your Google My Business profile. It's really easy to create. That puts you on the map while you decide what you're going to do as far as, a genuine website is concerned. So we're not going to go into how to build that. If somebody has questions about that, we can look at that for a future webinar, or you can give us a call and we can give you some pointers. For right now, we are just going to keep going on how to set up the Google My Business proper. So we're just going to put, I don't need one, and move on. I'm saying no here because I get a lot of messages from Google. But they give you pointers and information all the time, so it could be something that is good for you, but be prepared, they send a lot of messages out. Now, after you've done that basic information, it's going to say finish and verify this business. And generally speaking, you are going to have to receive something in the mail. Occasionally, they'll let you do it through a phone number and occasionally email, but that's really hit and miss. Generally speaking, the option you're going to be offered is an actual card to be verified. It'll be sent to the location. Whether it's a service area or not, you have put a location in there. They're going to send you that card, and it's going to have a code in it that you're going to put in and verify. So it says 5 days, but I've found it can be anywhere from a week to 3 weeks, depending on the mail and how fast Google processes it. If it takes any longer than that, request another one and check the information, because it should not be much longer than that. Mail goes astray. We all know that. So sometimes you might have to re-request. So I am just going to pop over and change what we see, because I set up one for actually do-it-yourself marketing, so that we can take a look at it and see how, walk through the process of what you can see before verification. And I'm just going to reshare the screen. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so this is what it looks like before it's verified. So what happens? The screen's not shared? Is it still not shared? Okay, excellent. Cassandra says you can see me again, or see the page anyways. So what we see here is what it will look like when you haven't optimized anything, you haven't added anything to it. There's going to be some sections that won't be available to you until you are verified. When this is the home, and so I'm looking at the wrong page. I'm trying to change the screen. So what you see here on the home page is, right, so you can advertise. They're always going to prompt you to do that. Obviously, they make their money through advertising, so this is always going to be here. They're going to tell you that your listing is not complete, and they're going to give you some prompts to do that. They're going to tell you verification is needed. Now, if you hit verify now, or if I hit verify now, what will happen is this will say that it's going to send a card, right? So this is me, Shelley Patrick, and they're going to mail. And they say 12 days now. It used to say 5. So they say 12, but as I said, give it at least 3 weeks. If it hasn't arrived, then prompt it, because it will give you the option to have it resent. So Porch card is coming. Here we go. Here we go. So we're back here. So verification is now pending. They're going to prompt me to do advertising, which is not what we're going to look at. But we are going to look at some of the other elements that you can customize and just walk through some of your choices here. So one of the things that you can do is add another user to manage things. So if you've got a partner or an assistant who's going to help you monitor possible reviews or messages from customers, you can invite them here. So you can see I'm the primary owner, and I have added Cassandra as a manager. And it's really easy to do. You just pop open the little corner with the People Plus, and you add whatever email, and you choose a role. So you can make them a site manager, so they can only manage that one location, because you can have multiple locations. You can make them a general manager. Cassandra is a general manager of all of the properties that ThinkFlame has. Or you can have, you can change the owner. So for example, when we do things for clients, if we create them from scratch with an email, it assigns the ownership to that initial email. Once everything is set up and optimized, we change the owner to the client and become a manager for that site instead. So there are different ways that you can do it. There is no hard and fast. There is definitely some ways to maneuver. People change, emails change, and Google knows that. Okay, so we're just going to click done here. And the next thing we're going to look at is posting. Now you can create posts that are attached to this that will actually be highlighted. You can create offers, which is a really great way. You've got something coming up, right? If you're a store and it's Valentine's Day, even if you're in financial services and it's Valentine's Day and you want to offer something that's going to prompt people to think about it, right? Think about that offer of for this Valentine's, give your sweetheart, I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm not in finance, but you get the idea. We have a dog niche. So if we were going to say for Valentine's, get your favorite puppy mom or dad, this cute mug or this cute t-shirt or something like that. That can be a special offer that is connected to your Google My Business. It has dates, they walk you through the process. It makes it very, very easy to work with. Then we go back to your basic information. Just letting this load. And again, it prompts you through all of the process, right? So add a business location. You can add a secondary location if that applies to you. If it doesn't, you don't have to. You can also do bulk if you have a chain. So say you have a chain of stores with 10 different locations. You can actually do a bulk upload for that. That's not very common, so we're not going to walk through this here. But again, just message Cassandra in the chat if you have any questions about that. Here I've got a service area, but that can change. I can add hours where I can put specifics or just days. So I can actually put this, oh, it's not letting me. It used to let me. Oh, here we go. 24 hours. You can tell it's been a while since I had set up my original one. So 24 hours means that anybody can message at any point, or you can put specific deadlines, close or open. Okay? You can add special hours or close times if you're closed for Christmas, if you're closed for New Year's, your birthday's coming up and you're closed, whatever that is, you can add this here. Your business phone number, your website. If you have a system where you can book appointments, you can put that in separately. Whether or not that's if you're a hair salon and you have an appointment system, you can put that here. For us, we actually use a meeting link that people can connect directly with our calendar. That can go here. All kinds of different elements that you can use here to make it easy for people to connect with you. And that's always the goal, is to make it as easy as possible, right? Don't make your prospective customer work hard to get a hold of you. And then, of course, services. This is a really basic one, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't put anything in here, right? So if you are a chiropractor, but you also have someone who does massage, and you also have someone who does, I can't think of the word, with the needles, acupuncture. Thank you, Cassandra. Acupuncture, those are 3 different services that might appeal to different people. You want to make sure that you list them in a given price, in a given point. And so that's going to help you have people understand what it is your business can offer. The more information that you have out there, the more likely that someone's going to be attracted to it. Now, attributes are things that people search for. So if you know that your people are looking for a specific service, you want to put that in this element, right? Obviously, Google is careful about this. If you have something that's iffy or X-rated, it's not going to get approved. It's not going to go through. So you have to be careful on the phrasing that you use here, because you can inadvertently put something that triggers something else and will get shut down. So you want to put as much as you can think of into these elements, and then that'll make it easier for people to find you as they look. Okay, business description. You have a nice set of space here to describe your business, and 750 characters is not huge, and it's characters, not words. So you have to think about not only the words that you use, but the spaces between. It all adds up. What we see here is often sort of a black and white, we cut hair. Well, okay, that's great. That's about you and not about your customer. And so what we like to see here is something that is going to answer a problem or make your customer feel good. So, you think about a hair salon, right? we make you beautiful for the everyday occasions as well as the special occasions, right? So something that is going to convey an emotional feeling for that customer, right? If you put that kind of description here, that's going to be much more compelling to that business than just, sort of the stark, we do this, or we sell this. I know that can be a little more difficult if you sell widgets, but there's always a way to think about the item, goods or services that you sell, and turning those around to make it about your product is going to make their life easier, happier, anything like that. Okay, so opening date. And you don't have to put this in, but if you've been in business for a while, this is really good for a couple of reasons. One, it tells Google that you're in it for the long haul, and the length of time in business does affect how people show up in rankings. And as we all know, with people searching more and more on their phone for services and goods, that ranking really makes a big difference. And so this can really help you the longer you've been in business. But if you've just started, still put it in. You want to make sure that you are letting Google know that you're serious. As well, it can sometimes make the difference of company X has been in business for 2 years, company Y has been in business for 10 years. Now, company Y is going to have a little bit of an advantage. And I know that might not seem fair for people who are just starting out a new venture, but there are ways to turn that around, and I'd still fill this in. The more information that Google has about you, the more information that you fill out, the happier they are and the more likely they are to push you up, even in the short term. Okay, so we're going to cancel that one and go to photos. Now, photos, you're going to have a couple of options here. We can't do this yet because it needs to be verified. But once you're verified, you can add a cover photo. You can add team photos. You can add videos, different products or specials that might come up. All of those elements for photos are something that can really help you, and people look at those things. So if you're up against a business that has no photos and you have some beautiful photos that, especially ones that call someone to take an action, that's going to be a really big advantage for you over your competitor. Okay, so this is the little website. We're not going to spend any time here. I'm just going to skip this. And you'll see without any pictures, it's not, it's not a huge, pretty site, but it gives you something if you need something to start with, and it's free. Free is always a good price. So let's go back. We looked at users. These things are things that are going to be, creating an ad. They're always going to tempt you to do that. Get a custom Gmail. For example, ThinkFlame uses Google's business apps for our foundation, right, for our business foundation. So even though it says Shelly@thinkflame.com, it is actually still a Gmail account. So because we have a professional level, and that's really what they're asking for here. And it starts at like $6 per email and can go up. But we find it to be a great and easy way to manage emails, but it varies according to what your needs are. Most hosting accounts, if you have your, wherever you have your website, give at least one, usually more. So you should be able to have a customized account regardless. You can't connect that to the Gmail. You have to use the Gmail of some sort in order to use Google My Business, but you can forward messages onto your original email if you need to. Now you can add new locations to, if you have multiple locations, they'll still have to be verified, and you can link to other accounts if you manage more than one or if you have different businesses. All of those elements can be here. And that can really, make a difference on saving you time whenever you're managing these elements. Now, a couple of other things we didn't look at. Insights we can't see, but what happens is once you're verified and you start showing up in searches, it will tell you how many times that you've shown up in a search in any given month, and it will tell you some of the terms that you are showing up for searches in, which can be really helpful when it comes to writing some content or looking at what you might need to increase on your website. The other things that you need to be verified for are reviews. Now, this is really important, and this is one of the reasons that it drives me a little crazy when I see somebody hasn't claimed their site yet. Anybody can put up your business. It doesn't have to be you. And if they put up your business instead of you, they can put a review up that you might not know is there, good or bad. And the information that they put up is not necessarily going to be accurate. But that's the information that other people who might search for you are going to find. So you really want to make sure that you own it and that you have corrected any errors that might be there. And what will happen is you'll see every so often, you'll get a message from Google saying somebody has suggested this edit. And if you've claimed it, you can correct, accept, or get rid of it. If you haven't claimed it, it will automatically go through if there's been no comment with a certain amount of time. Cassandra's waving at me. Oh, yes. So I just out of curiosity, we've got a little poll Cassandra's going to put up. And just let us know, have you claimed your listing? Do you, well, you might not know if you claimed your listing. If you're not sure, I think that's one of the options she's put up there. But just let us know one way or the other if you have claimed that listing. Okay, I'm just going to give Cassandra a sec with that.
2 people have answered it so far.
Okay.
Oh, we got 3. So far it's 67% yes and 33% no.
Okay, so we've got 67% of people so far right now have in fact claimed their listing. I don't know if that's optimized. I want to throw in the chat just if you have optimized that listing or if you've just put in the basics. I'm watching the chat, so I'll be able to see it. The other elements that we're looking at, I'm just going to pop over, is messaging. If you've claimed it and somebody sends you a message, it comes to you, and you can actually answer these, and you can add these if these are questions that are commonly asked. You can add them to a Q&A for your business. So if one person is asking and you know it's going to be asked again, you can put it up there so multiple people can see that answer. Oh, okay. No worries, Ella. That's pretty easy to fix. So, speak to Cassandra about that afterwards, and she can help you out with that. Okay, so just a little backwards. I probably should have started with this question, but I'm a firm believer that everybody should have a Google My Business. It is a free tool. Google prompts it. Google gives it a little bit of oomph, a little bit of love, and so it is a lost marketing opportunity that is really cost effective for you if you don't take advantage of this. And I'm just going to flip over 1 second to another screen. Let me close this one. Just so I can show you what it looks like when you do a general search. Okay, sometimes it takes a second when I flip screen, so let me know if you can see that. Is it showing up? Okay. All right, so what I did here was I just put Whitby Chiropractic into the search and to see what will come up. And what you'll see here is at the top are a few ads, and that's pretty standard. And then you've got the 3-pack map. Some people call this the money pack because the chances are that the person on the top of this is going to get the most clicks, right? So Whitby Chiropractic Wellness Center is going to get more clicks than anyone else. They have decent reviews. They're comparable to the other two. They've got a lot of reviews compared to the other two, and they're right on top. But before we go and look at them, we're just going to hit more places. And so what you see here is everybody who has claimed a listing with chiropractic and Whitby in this area, and their locations are pinpoint. And what generally happens with Google is they will start with your location as the center and then give you people farther out. So the people in the center of that map are the people that are closest to you. And it will often tell you how far away you are as you pop people up. So you'll see Whitby Chiropractic here. I'm not hitting these ones because they're ads. I don't want to inadvertently charge somebody for pinging them. But you'll see information here, right? So they've got a lot of Google reviews. You can go directly to their website. You can get directions. You can save this as a favorite. You can suggest edits. And this is what, if you haven't claimed your business, and an unclaimed business will actually have a little question here that says, basically, do you own this business? And you can claim it there. They haven't put their business hours in. They don't have any questions or answers here. You can ask questions, but they can also put some in here. They do have some nice photos of team members, the inside of their office and the outside. And the reason the outside can be really important is because if somebody's trying to find you, you want to make it easy for them, right? And how many of us have tried to go someplace and ended up, circling the block, not entirely sure where some of those numbers are? This can really help people and make it easier for them. This is another great thing. Again, we're all 50%, more than 50% mobile now. So whether or not you think your potential customers are, avid searchers online, chances are, at some point they'll have picked up this phone and gone, painter, whatever, and they're going to come up here. And you want to be one of those people for your services to come up. So they have a summary of reviews, and they don't just pull, these are Google reviews here. If they had a Facebook reviews, it would also show up here, and it tallies into the summary. So, all the different places that come for reviews that match your listing, if they are different, even slightly, sometimes they won't all amalgamate. And the more reviews you get, the better off. And you'll see that there's one bad review here. We've got one that actually gave a 1. With 33 reviews and the top ones being positive, people are going to disregard that. Everybody has a bad day. We all know that, right? So, whether it's your staff member could have a bad day or the person could have a bad day, whatever it is, having one bad review in a big mix of other reviews is not a terrible thing. It can actually make it seem like the rest are actually more valuable because they trust. People trust when there's a little fly in the ointment, as it were, right? And the comments here are all very positive, right? So these are the kinds of things that can really help your business and can make a difference, right? If you've got 2 ads here, you've got Dr. Michelle, who's got 6 reviews as opposed to Chiropractic Wellness and Rehabilitation, that's a mouthful, which has 105 reviews, right? So which one feels like it has maybe more experience? That may not be the case. It just may be that the second one is much better at asking their clientele for reviews. But whatever it is, it gives that impression. And so those things matter as you are looking at these elements. I'm just going to go quickly. Here we go. So Whitby Chiropractic Center has not claimed their listing. These are all things that people have put in or has been pulled from the internet. So obviously somebody wanted to give them a review, didn't find them, and so put it in themselves. And this information may or may not be accurate. Now, happily for them, this was a positive review. Somebody gave them a 5-star review. But it could have just as easily been that 1-star review. And then if people are coming here and then all of a sudden they see a 1-star, they're just going to keep going and look at some of the other options that are out here. And that's one of many reasons that it's really important that you make sure you claim it and you make sure you revisit it. I think about your online platforms, your website, listings like this, Google, Yahoo, they also have listings like this, as well as many other smaller directories. Be it any of the social media, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, whatever it is, think about those as your website is sort of your main online office, and your other platforms, the listings like this, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, are little outreach offices, right, that extend your reach to people. But just like a physical office, if you don't refresh every so often, you start to look a little dated and shabby, right? In your physical office, you're going to check, especially with it being a cold winter, you're going to check and make sure that there are no leaks, that there are no cracks in the window, that there's insulation around the door, that there's a fresh coat of paint, all of those things. The internet is the same thing. You want your online office to reflect the person and business that you are, and you want that to be updated, and you want it to be fresh, and you want it to be inviting. And so things like your cover page for your Google My Business, putting a picture of your team up, putting a snapshot of where you work. It can seem like that's not relevant to what's going on, but people buy from people, and you want to make sure that those people feel like you are someone that they can like and trust, and so want to do business with. Does that make sense? Just give me a 1. Kim, what do you suggest for the address fields if you're a home-based business and don't want your, okay. So at the beginning, you'll see it in the replay, Kim, there is actually an option. I'm actually going to pop back there. Okay, I'm going to pop back so you can see it. Okay, so right down here, Kim, can you see the screen? I've just gone backwards a little bit. Can you see it? Cass, is it up? Okay, so when you are creating your listing, one of the screens that you'll come across is where are you located. Now I just put my address, which I guess we'll have to blur out afterwards. And I put that I deliver goods and services to my customers, right? So I do it often here online, or we go meet them at their offices, or we meet, at a coffee and house and sit down and have a chat. That's how I deliver our services, and then we come back and do the work, in front of our computer. So we have a virtual office in Markham, but we still work a lot out of our home. So I would put, I deliver goods and services to my customers, and hide my address so that people are not seeing our personal home address in the listings. Okay, does that make sense, Kim? So there's just a little bit of a delay, so I'm not seeing the answers quite as quickly as they are coming up. So whenever, go ahead, Cass?
No, we're good.
Okay. No worries, Kim. What do they say about adult learning? We all have to repeat a few times in order for it to really sink in. There are days where I feel it needs to be repeated to me a lot more than a couple of times. Okay, so this is the Google My Business one, but there is also one for Yahoo, and there's also one for Bing, as well as a plethora of local directories that you might find across the country, both in your local region and Canada-wide. But the Google My Business I would consider the most important. If you haven't claimed it, please claim it and optimize it. But the Bing and Yahoo will help you as well. The reality is that Google still has more than 50% of the search share that's out there. So if you have to choose one, pick this one. And if you want to extend that a little bit, make sure you capture those big three, because then you've got 90% of the search market out there. You'll have appeared in the various ones. And I would do a search on those different browsers for your own business. I mean, Ella says she needs 7 times. I'm with you, Ella. When you do it, search for different browsers, I know it seems, common sense. Do 2 different kinds of searches. Do your name, do your official business name, and then do your service the way that I did, right? Chiropractic Whitby. So whatever your service or business is in your town or the area that you want to show up for, do the search in that and see what comes up, because it can change. Now, for those of you who do not want to do this yourself, yes, Ella, you're making me laugh. For those of you who do not want to do it yourself, we actually have a special for everybody who's attending the webinar and for those who get the replay. And we're doing a special we will claim, if you haven't claimed it, and optimize either way your site, including a custom graphic with a call to action for $49, plus the ever-present HST, sorry. As well, for those people who want to do all 3, we will do all 3 for $147. We normally do it, just to give you an idea, for $200 for just Google My Business, and then an additional $100 for each of the others. In this case, we're going to do all of them basically at $50 each for $147. So Cassandra's going to drop the links into the chat, because there's 2 different ones. And if you are interested, please take advantage. And if you have any questions and want a little extra help, just let Cassandra know, and we'll set up a time for a quick call and walk through whatever challenge you might find there. Because, every time somebody gives you the opportunity, like Google, especially Google, gives you the opportunity to capture some audience at a low or no cost, you want to take advantage of that. Don't let, some free marketing pass you by. Is anybody got any other questions?
Ella wants to know what optimizing means.
Optimizing means that we go through and we make sure all of the elements are up to date. That, we've got sort of your top 3 questions that people might ask and answers set up there, as well as the customized image and a call to action. If you want them to call you, then we want to make sure that that is out there, that it actually says, call us today and get your free. Yes, there will be a replay sent out. No worries about that. So, sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. It means that a picture is nice, right? So you've got a nice picture here, right? Google's got a nice pretty picture here that shows, but their call to action is here. In the Google My Business listing, you don't really have that option, right? So here, right, this picture could have a call to action on it, right? It could say, call today. And that picture in and of itself, that little bit of extra push could be enough for somebody to actually click on that number and call. Does that make sense? Yes? I'm going to assume it makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. Anybody else have any other questions? No? Okay. So with no more questions, we're going to wrap this up. We will send the replay out. It'll take a little while to render it, so it'll probably go out tomorrow morning. And again, any questions, just shoot either Cassandra and I an email, and we are happy to help. Please let us know if you liked this format. We are planning to do at least twice a month, various subjects to help people get a foundation. And we're going to be setting up some, ongoing group coaching for people. So if you're interested in attending those, let us know, and we'll make sure you're on that list. And if there's subjects that you really want us to cover, let us know that as well. All right? Thank you so much for coming and have a great day.